Hey, happy campers, Todd here, Great American. We've got the Grand Design Reflection 303 RLS full-length walkthrough coming at you now.
3, 2, 1, here we go.
The new 2026 303 RLS by Grand Design brings us a front bedroom, mid-bath, and rear living on our unit. It'll sleep up to 4, has a gross vehicle weight rating of 12,000 pounds, so we will need a 3/4 ton truck to pull this down the road. We have a height of 12.3, length of 32 feet 10 inches, so not incredibly long, easy to manage when we're making our maneuvers down the road. We do have 2 ACs on the unit with a 50 amp service with a 35,000 BTU furnace. Have a 370 watt solar panel on the roof with a 60 amp controller, and we are routed with the Starlink prep and inverter prep on this unit. Let's take a closer look at everything else. All right, here we are on the front cap of that Reflection. Of course, we do have a better turning radius with their style on the front, how it kind of curves around the edge. Our tucked in Rhino lippered pin box right here. Of course, our breakaway 7-way plug, all your standard stuff on here. Insulated underbelly right here around our kingpin. We also have our light switches here for our front cap lights, which are a little bit different from previous years. They're vertical up and down. Of course, our tow light right there by the hitch pin for hooking up. We'll jump into our front compartment here. Hydraulic arm assist. No need having to struggle trying to find that latch to hold that door open. If we look in here, we have good access to our electric leveling. So on this unit, we have a 4-point leveling on here. So that means 4 jacks around the unit for stabilization and leveling. It is auto level. We'll show you that in a little bit. But all these things need to override. What happens if that system goes down for whatever reason? Maybe a motor goes out. Easily accessible right here. We pull a plug out, stick a socket in there. You can run it with a drill and actually lower these down. Same thing with our rear jacks. So that's great. It doesn't leave you stuck on the road. You can find one of our videos in the HAPS Helpful Hacks section to go ahead and get you out of a jam. Saved you from a road call if something goes wrong. Also in here, we're going to have our controls for our auto leveling. Speaking of that, 12 volt control, need good voltage to run that stuff. If you ever have an issue, make sure you have good batteries to start with. Speaking of batteries, we have our battery box right here, ventilated out. We can screw that down and protect our batteries from anything touching them, getting on top. So I like the feature of having that box there. You're also gonna have your battery disconnect here. Inside that box, Grand Design has nice, neat wiring going into here, and inside here, you're gonna have those resettable breakers for things like your slide outs and stuff like that, refrigerators, anything that is not a direct blade fuse like what we'll see on the inside is all in here, and most of those are going to be automatic resettable, which means they'll heat up, they'll trip, they'll cool down, and they'll reset on their own. You're also going to have your solar disconnect right here, along with that 60 amp solar controller that we mentioned, already wired in here. And then we're going to have our converter system. A converter is 110 to 12 volts, so that is basically your battery charger for your unit. Whenever you're plugged in, charging your battery. I like the access to be able to get to that. If there's any maintenance or anything that needs to go down, easy to get to right there. We'll also have our lipper control leveling operation guide right here. We'll take a look at that in that front side compartment. Not much else in here besides our motion lighting right up there at the top. All right, new graphics down the side of our unit. Kind of like those, different look. Always like when they change the design of that stuff. Lippered slim rack system on our front slide. No Schwintek slide right there. A lot of people are happy about that. The controls for that slim rack system are right here in our pass-through bay. We'll take a look at that in a little while. We have our first LP tank right here. Our accessibility to our automatic propane regulator right here. It's going to automatically swap over whenever one of those tanks runs dry. We have that secondary tank. No need to come turn a lever or anything. It's going to automatically do that. Here in that pass-through, we are going to have a small latch right here to access our control panel for all our water and stuff. Magnetic latches over here and off to the side for both of those doors. Everything is right here, and what's great about this control panel is our winterization is right here, our power tank fill, dry camping, city water, siphon, everything is all in one location, including our black tank flush. So we don't have to walk around our unit to multiple different places to be able to access and operate these items. We'll also have our gray tanks, everything, the valves, all that stuff is right here. So your port is going to be right behind it for your hose, just a single port right here for your gray and your black tank. So we don't need multiple sewer hoses to go to one source. just everything nice and tidy in this area. We even have a little work light right here off to the side for that port. And then we have our connection for our coiled hose to be able to rinse things off, hot and cold. Turn our water pump off and on right here. Satellite cable connections, auxiliary ports, all those things nice and tight right here. We're also going to have that auto leveling right here for our electric leveling system. Once again, good 12 volts to operate that stuff. Our pad is conveniently located right here to where we don't have to duck in too much to be able to operate that. And above it, you're gonna see that slim rack controller for that slide out right there. So if something does go wrong, it is easily accessible. Speaking of easily accessible, let's pull this panel off and see what's behind there. All right, so good, bad, and ugly. I like to show it all. Before I pull this off, we're gonna notice right here, we are prepped for Starlink on our new reflections. That plug-in is right here if we wanna add that and have Starlink internet with us. Pull that panel off. We have access to the back of that control center. We wanna check that kind of stuff. Hot, cold weather comes through. We're gonna see expansion and contraction of all of our fittings in here. So easily accessible to check that stuff and make sure we're not having any small drips, leaks, or anything like that. We're also gonna have our water pump accessible right back here. A water pump, if you didn't know, has a little strainer on it. You need to clean that on a regular basis. Make sure there's no allergy buildup, debris, or anything that makes your water pump struggle from getting the pressure it needs from your fresh tank out to all of your plumbing fixtures. Besides that, we're gonna see the ugly, right? We see all of our P-traps, our furnace, everything like that all in here, but it is fairly accessible for maintenance, so that makes things a little bit easier to repair. Also in our pass-through bay, we're gonna see our aluminum floor construction for our decking. We're gonna have heated pass-through bay. We'll see that furnace duct roll through here, have that heated option in here. Keep your items from freezing or getting too cold in that pass-through during cold temperatures. Speaking of, this unit has been tested in that 0 to 100 temperature range, and they felt that the reflection was operational and comfortable in those temperatures. Another thing that we're going to talk about is our chassis. It is an LCI chassis. It is reinforced with extra strength and stuff. I know a lot of people may talk about the frame flex that they had in some of these units. That was mainly solitudes and momentums that were having that issue, not an issue with reflection, but what have they done? They've helped strengthen that stuff even more to make sure it's not an issue for the future. As we move down, we have good accessibility to our furnace right here. Pull these screws off, technician can get to everything they need without having to tear stuff apart on the inside. So I like that about our furnace. Have our Furion tankless water heater right here. These things kind of get a bad rap because a lot of people talk about them, oh, I have fluctuations in my temperature and stuff. This is how you work them. You turn them on, you set your temperature on the inside, just turn your hot water on. If it's too hot, go to that control panel and adjust the temperature on it. You shouldn't be putting your hot and cold water on like you do at your house. You don't do that, otherwise it is gonna mess with the flow on this system, if I can ever get this thing in. Flow on this system, and then you will have some issues with it. So check your operation guide, it'll tell you exactly how to use it. 50 amp plug-in right here, that's gonna give you plenty of power to run both your ACs. Rack and pinion slide out over here. Gonna have our vent over our stovetop right there. If you didn't know, these vents, no matter the brand, all have little latches on them to where you need to close those during storage. Keep rodents, bugs, all kind of stuff from building a nest in there. You need to open it up if you use that hood vent over the stove. As we move back over here, we'll take a look just under our slide out. We'll see that rear jack. That is part of our 4-point stabilizer. That does have an override on it as well. Very easy to access if we need to override that. Besides that, you're gonna have a rack and pinion slide, which means there's a 12-volt motor in the underbelly to run that slide out in and out. And then you have your storage tube for your sewer hose as well. As we look under here, we're gonna see a couple of blue hoses right next to that white gate valve. That is for our fresh tank. The white gate valve is to drain the water out of that fresh tank. We don't want to keep that water in there and storing it. It becomes stagnant over a while, not to mention adds extra weight to your unit. So if you don't need it, drain that water out of there. The blue tubes are overflow tubes. If you overflow that tank and water comes out of there, no big deal. It's just keeping it from overflowing into your unit, obviously. All right, on this particular one, we have drum brakes on our system with the Kurt axles. See, all our wiring, everything is nice and neat under here. Also have our reflective underbelly under here that's gonna help reduce any heat or cold from getting into our floor line of our unit. We're going to see our MORRIDE suspension right there, all greasable fittings, which I really like that. That helps maintain our unit when we can go ahead and add grease to all that stuff as well. Keep everything from squeaking and keeps everything nice and lubed up. Right next to that black tank and gray tank dump right there, you're going to see 2 lines. Those are your low point drains. Very accessible when we're ready to winterize, to go ahead and get that water out of there and add our RV antifreeze. On our back cap, upgraded graphics once again. We also have our backup camera option. We can upgrade, see behind us while we are towing. If we want to have a golf cart or anything like that behind us, do have a 300-pound tongue weight capacity, 3,000-pound trailer capacity, and we have our 4-way plug back here for the lights. Have our 300-pound ladder right here. That's to get to our roof. Let's go check it out. As we start in the front, we see our front transition for our front cap. Nicely sealed right there. I like that. Very well maintained from Grand Design from the beginning. We have our 2 Furion ACs up here, our Winegard Air 360 antenna for our antenna channels, as well as the upgraded feature to be able to have internet. We're also going to have our 300-watt solar panels. Our wires are nicely ran through the body of the unit, and we can upgrade and add to this if we want. And of course, our rear 15,000 BTU AC. Now on our slide outs, we look at our roof here, the Eternabond tape across the top, so all the screws and everything are nicely protected. Have our wiper seals here. Let's talk about slide out maintenance. If you don't have slide toppers on your unit, you need to get up here, brush this down, get pine straw, tree branches, stuff like that off of here before we close that slide. That way we don't cause any issues with tearing up that seal or that slide out fascia, compressing against our seals to make sure no water gets in there. So make sure we're doing that. Make sure we're climbing up here every 60 to 90 days, checking our sealant around our vents, our rear caps. Want to protect our investment here and make sure we don't have any water entry. That covers our roof. Let's go check out our patio area. As we wrap around to the entry side of our unit, we do see access to our spare tire. We'll see through that whole little pin sticking out to drop that spare tire down. We're also going to have access to our J-route for overrides on these rack and pinion slide outs. So we move up front to this one, see that hole right here. If we look under there, we'll see that post sticking out. We can actually have a crank handle and run those slide outs in if we have any issues with operation. We talked about that 12-volt motor being in the underbelly. Grand Design does a good job of giving us access points to be able to override that if there's ever any issues. The access on this side is going to be for the opposite slide. The one for this slide will be over there to go ahead and override that option. 16-inch alloy rims over here with Goodyear Endurance tires. 5-year warranty, 12 months, no questions asked replacement. It's pretty good warranty on our tire system. We're also going to have the ABS system on here, along with that tire link already on here. We can go ahead and sync that up and keep an eye on the tire pressure while we're traveling down the road, as well as the temperature. 12-volt solar awnings, one on our slide, one on our main patio area. Very easy to tilt. You can do this on either arm, grab it, tilt it. Now our AC runoff, light dew, all that stuff can run off of our awning. Any high winds, rain, want to make sure we roll those up. They're intended as a sunshade only, not a rain shade. Don't let anybody tell you any different. As we work our way up, we'll get to our entry steps in a minute. Front storage for that second LP tank. More pass-through storage right here. Let's go ahead and take a look behind that panel there. All right, we pulled that panel back, 3 screws. Once again, pretty much same stuff we saw from the other side, but here we see the main brains for that Compass Connect. We'll see on the inside for our controls, run everything. Wiring is all nice and neat. We're also going to see where everything goes in. So that makes diagnostics easy, so easy that if you, the customer, feel comfortable troubleshooting with Lippert or Grand Design over something, easily accessible, nicely labeled, so you can run through some tests on here and maybe get you out of a jam without any road service. You're also going to have your TireLink Pro monitor right there, already hardwired in, access to cable and antenna, 110 outlet right there for your TV if you want to add one right here. Pretty much covers everything in our pass-through bay. Of course, we also have that 12-volt motion sense lighting in there too. All right, as we're talking about our entry door, really cool thought process from Grand Design. You have your magnet right here for your entry door to go ahead and hold it open on a nice cool day or whatever you want. What's really cool is they thought this out. Open up your compartment door right there. You have another magnet right here to be able to hold that door. That is Great thought process right there. A couple of things below our J-wrap, we do have access to a quick connect for LP system that will pull off of our tanks there in the front. You're also going to have your dog leash attachment right here and our step above more ride steps right here. And really easy to pick up, one-handed. You have a shock assist in there, so it's really easy to put in and out. Want to make sure that our door is all the way open so we don't tear up our nice Lippert screen defender right here. Grand Design is great with pets. We have our leash deal. Want to make sure our pets don't tear up our stuff. We have that good screen defender there. So back to our steps. First step at the campsite, auto level your unit, right? Next thing you want to do is come over here and manually level out your steps. Very easy to do. You push in that tab right there. You can go ahead and adjust the legs on your steps. That's very important because we want to make sure our steps are nice, safe, and level getting in and out. But we also want to make sure that our frame doesn't hit our door, cause any damage there. Seen a lot of people lay steps out, then auto level their unit. They're bending, breaking, all kind of stuff. Make sure you do it in that order. Have our safety rail to add more safety getting in and out of the unit. Easy to store, easy to put out. Before we go inside, let's take a thump. Fully laminated walls on the roof, sidewalls, back cap. Construction is aluminum with vacuum bonded walls. So we have a good insulation, strong, durable walls for the future. As soon as we walk into our unit, open up our cabinet here, we have our controls with the Compass Connect, Bluetooth capable, so we can hook this stuff to our phone and operate some of these items. Let's take a closer look at the operation on the panel for now. On our panel, we can see the tank levels for all of our tanks, fresh tank, black tank, gray tanks. Also going to see our battery level. We'll see all of our lights, our water pump operation, as well as 12-volt tank heaters for our black tanks, gray tanks, fresh tanks. All that stuff does have tank heaters on there, so we just kick it on whenever that weather gets cold, keep it from freezing. Have our awning operations and our slide outs as well. Down below our control panel, right when you walk in the door, direct access to our 110 panel right here with all of our breakers. And then if we open up this panel here, we have 12-volt fuses right here. So even with our slide outs closed, good access to our 110, fairly okay access to our 12-volt panels. If we have to get to that stuff with the slide outs closed, stay tuned. We're going to show you what everything looks like whenever those slide outs are closed, then you're on the road. Good storage options over here, over our what I'm going to call a coffee bar, right? Another Starlink hookup there up top. You're going to see that different in your 26s. I don't see the Travel-Fi anywhere in here. Everything's pretty well going towards that Starlink. Good storage drawers down here at the bottom, nice hardwood stuff. Pretty durable CO LP detector there at the bottom. Move over to our large 12-volt Furion refrigerator. Massive amount of room in there. Really easy to operate. You have a couple different function modes on there. If you went off-grid, you can put it in a different mode so it doesn't use as much battery capacity in there. We also have our Furion microwave, three burner stove, and our Furion oven down there at the bottom. One thing that I like about our stovetop, heavy duty grills right here, pull off, really easy to clean. So I like that, and a lot of the new models. We're also going to have plenty of cabinetry, plenty of storage in and around our sink. And then of course, everybody's favorite, trash can storage. Where do you put your trash can? They've got that figured out right there. Huge pantry space right here with adjustable shelving to go ahead and accommodate your taller goods, smaller goods, whatever you need. And then our entertainment with our JBL radio system right here for indoor and outdoor. And then storage there on the sides. Have our TCL TV right here that can go ahead, come out and adjust whichever direction we need it, with our antenna booster back here. And we can turn that off if we want to adjust for cable. We'll scan for cable channels there at the campground. Remember, antenna booster on whenever we're searching for antenna channels. Down here, our fireplace puts out electric heat, have different light ambiances we can change up for the mood, and 110 operated. So it's not gas heat, that's electric heat that goes in here. So if you don't like the smell of gas heat, kick that on. That'll take care of the problem in this area and heat you up without having to worry about that smell. Great storage up above our sofa right here, and shades, nice. They're accordion style, but they're not the old type of accordion style. You have nice guides there on the side, so they're not flimsy and cheap looking. These are nice upgrade from the old stuff. You're also going to have a fold-out sofa bed option right there. Pull those two cushions off. We can fold this bed out. Boom, boom, boom. And now we got room for more. Different feature from our 25s, they got rid of the overhead cabinetry right here. So it gives you a bigger panoramic view. Nice big windows right here. Drop down armrest, so you can go ahead and divide with who you're sitting with or snuggle, one of the two. Have our manual kickback operation for our Thomas Paine recliners right there. As we move back, don't have a fixed bench seat right here. We have chairs that can move. Do have the ottoman right here that can come out. We can move it over there for propping up your legs. You also have storage underneath here as well. Open it up, add some items under there, put it back under here for more bench space. And a really cool feature on our table here, pull that T handle there at the bottom, pull the table out, turn it, slide it in, creates more space here, or more table with it horizontally right there. As we look at our floors, ductless heating, we'll notice vents down here at the side that push our heat out, so no dust traps for all of our floors, for dust, dirt, all that stuff. That is a pain to clean up, so we've got rid of that along the floor line. We've also got a hidden pet dish right here. Once again, Grand Design loves the pets and does not forget them. We can store that away when we're ready for travel. Motion lighting on our steps for at night, kick on, light up the way. We have our Furion air conditioner system right there in the back. All ducted units, you can go ahead and open it up for direct flow right there, close it off, and it'll flow through your AC vents that run throughout your unit. You can set timers and programming on this type of thermostat. We've also got our dehumidifier option with Furion as well. Below that, you're gonna have your max air vent control for our kitchen area to exhaust out if you wanna use that whenever you're cooking. One more thing in our hallway is our Winegard upgradable internet system. We can go ahead and upgrade with that Winegard gateway that would give us 5G LTE if we put a little SIM card in there, have Wi-Fi with us wherever we go, or it is also a Wi-Fi repeater to strengthen the Wi-Fi at the campsite, or once again, you have that Starlink option as well. From our hallway, we have entry into our bathroom with our corner shower right here. Pretty good amount of room in here. Tall people, you're good. I'm 5'7", so I'm not that tall, but if you're 6 foot or so, I think you could be fairly comfortable in here. Detachable shower head. If you are a little taller and you need to move that around, you're in good shape. Our toilet is in a pretty good position, giving us a pretty good amount of room here. Just watch your head on that cabinet whenever you're coming up, but we do have good cabinet space in there. Nice little towel rack here. Foot pedal push on our toilet. Motion sensor lighting next to it. For our sink and everything, we have access underneath for more storage. We have our Furion tankless water heater system right here. Remember, I told you set your temperature and forget it. This is where you'll do it really easy. Off, on, up, down to change that temperature, and then jump in your shower. Just turn on the hot water, not the cold. Now, big surprise for you as we move back right here, this can also lead into our bedroom. We have access to our bathroom right here or through our hallway, which is a nice feature. It being a couples coach, we can have direct access to our bathroom. A lot of space for storage right here in this little vanity slide out. And as we scoot over, barn style door right here, just our regular door here. Pretty big window with our blackout shades once again. And then we have a 60 by 80 bed. You do have the upgrade option to a king, which will give you a 70 by 80 as well. We'll also have our added Furion AC up here, along, once again, ducted through, so these ACs share these ducts, pushing air all throughout our unit. Another backer for our TV with cable and antenna options there. Thermostat for that AC here. And we have storage underneath our bed as well. And then we also have storage overhead over those bed as well as night reading. Just a quick touch on those lights, which I really like. There's no clicking, no button to go bad. Just quick touch on that light, kick it off and on. All right, slides are closed. Like I said, good access to our 110 panel right there. Our 12 volt panel right here, easily accessible. You got a good bit more room than what I expected. And as far as access to anything else, pretty limited. We can still open up our fridge door right here, so that's nice. We can go ahead and load it up with our slide out still closed. That's pretty good. And then we also still have access to our bedroom and our bathroom. So if we want to make pit stops while we're traveling down the road, easily accessible to that mid bath. And then our bedroom for storage underneath our bed. Not too bad whenever we close everything up and we want to load. We have pretty good and decent access to everything in here. So we've been through all the ins and outs, the good, the bad, the ugly of our 2026 303 RLS Grand Design Reflection. Grand Design speaks for itself, plenty of forums, plenty of customer support. They're always at rallies. Great brand in my opinion. They're always there for the customer. So is Great American RV. We like going through these walkthroughs. If there's a particular floor plan you want to see, leave it down in the comments. If you like something particular about this floor plan, leave it down in the comments. Let us know how we did. Give us a thumbs up if you like the content. Let us know what you want to see in the future. In the meantime, if you have questions or want to have troubleshooting tips on particular components, we do that too in our Haps Helpful Hacks section on the Great American RV YouTube channel. Check it out, click like, subscribe, so you don't miss the next video from Great American RV. Also, everybody's gonna comment, how much is it? Go look down in the description section for a link that'll bring you straight to the inventory for this Grand Design Reflection 303 RLS. Our prices are changing on the daily basis. I don't want to put a price up here if we're gonna end up lower tomorrow. I want you to get the best price, so go check it out there. We're also accepting offers, so put one in so this 303 RLS can be yours today with Great American RV, where we're making memories one weekend at a time.